Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of December 8, 2024. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. West Group of Forces achieved advantageous positions and successfully engaged Ukrainian forces, including tank, infantry, and mechanized brigades across several settlements, including Monokhinovka and Kupiansk. They repelled 11 Ukrainian counterattacks, leading to substantial Ukrainian losses, including over 460 servicemen and various artillery pieces like a British FH-70 howitzer and a US M198 howitzer.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you the latest developments in global security and military operations. I'm your host, and today we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer and leader of combined armed forces during on-ground missions. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for taking the time to brief us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to share the latest updates from the operation.
Let's begin with the North Group of Forces. What progress has been made in the Kharkiv direction?
The North Group successfully engaged Ukrainian territorial defense brigades and border detachments in the areas of Tycho, Volchansk, and Kazakia Lopan in the Kharkiv region. The operations resulted in Ukrainian losses of up to 40 servicemen, a vehicle, and 2 D-30 howitzers.
Were there any counterattacks from Ukrainian forces?
Yes, Ukrainian assault groups launched 2 counterattacks, but they were repelled effectively, maintaining our control in this sector.
Moving on to the West Group, what's the situation there?
The West Group occupied more advantageous positions and engaged multiple Ukrainian brigades, including tank, infantry, and mechanized units, across settlements like Monokhinovka, Kupiansk, and Torskoy. Ukrainian forces suffered over 460 casualties and the loss of key assets such as a British FH-70 howitzer, a US M198 howitzer, and various armored vehicles.
How significant were these engagements in terms of strategy?
These operations not only inflicted heavy losses on the enemy, but also disrupted their ability to launch coordinated counteroffensives, securing our operational gains in critical regions.
What updates can you share about the Southern Group of Forces?
The Southern Group made tactical advancements in areas such as Ulikli, Ostrovskoy, and Kurakovo in the Donetsk People's Republic. They repelled 2 Ukrainian counterattacks, resulting in 225 enemy casualties and the destruction of key artillery assets, including a US-made M777 howitzer.
What's the significance of these operations?
These advancements strengthen our positions and reduce the enemy's ability to regroup or sustain prolonged defensive efforts in these areas.
The Center Group seems to be making substantial gains. What's the latest?
The Center Group continued its offensive, liberating the settlement of Berezhki in the Donetsk People's Republic. Ukrainian forces, including mechanized and marine brigades, suffered over 500 casualties and significant equipment losses, such as a US-made M777 howitzer and multiple D-30 howitzers.
Were there any counterattacks from Ukrainian forces?
Yes, 8 counterattacks were launched, but all were repelled, further solidifying our control in these areas.
Let's turn to the East Group. What progress has been made?
The Vostok Group successfully liberated Blagovatnoye, Oktyabrsk State Farm, in the Donetsk People's Republic. Ukrainian forces, including mechanized and territorial defense brigades, suffered 190 casualties and lost advanced assets such as a US-made Paladin artillery unit.
And how has the DNEPR Group contributed?
The Dnipro Group inflicted losses on Ukrainian mechanized brigades in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. Ukrainian casualties included 45 servicemen and the destruction of multiple vehicles and artillery systems, including 3 Alka multiple launch rocket systems.
How have air and missile operations supported these efforts? And were there any notable successes in air defense?
Our operational tactical aviation, UAVs, missile forces, and artillery targeted Ukrainian military airfields, energy facilities, and troop concentrations across 139 districts. These strikes disrupted the enemy's logistics and weakened their operational capabilities. And yes, our air defense systems intercepted 12 checkmate Vampire rockets and 88 UAVs, demonstrating our robust aerial defense capabilities.
The Kursk region remains a focal point. What updates do you have?
In the Kursk region, our forces defeated multiple Ukrainian brigades, including mechanized and marine units, across settlements like Alexandria and Plakovo. Over the past 24 hours, Ukrainian losses amounted to more than 400 servicemen and various vehicles, including a U.S.-made Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. Our troops achieved success in Plakovo, where the enemy held the defense for a long time, trying to prevent our troops from reaching one of the main logistics routes in the region. The actions of the Russian armed forces have been intensified near Ruskoye and Cherkaskoye Porogny. Heavy bloody battles are underway. The armed forces of Ukraine do not spare their personnel and equipment, throwing rare Leopard tanks into counterattacks.
Was there any point in Russia continuing to support Assad?
10 years ago, Russia came to the aid of Syria at its most difficult moment, effectively saving the country from disintegration and terrorist threat. But no radical changes took place in the country. At the same time, the tasks of the Russian presence to destroy terrorists at distant approaches were mostly accomplished, and the troops gained unique combat experience. Syria should not yet expect an automatic transition to a flourishing, bright future. Turkey, the United States, and Israel, as the three largest players in the region, will pursue an independent policy in which other parties, such as Qatar or Saudi Arabia, will occasionally interfere. Because of this, one should not expect a significant reduction in tension and contradictions, but these countries will regulate all these relations among themselves. A particularly large burden in this regard may fall on Israel, for which Syria is now acquiring the status of an openly hostile state.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for having me. Recently, there have been violent incidents in Gaza, including Israeli attacks that targeted a camp, resulting in the deaths of 5 displaced family members. Additionally, there was an attack on a hospital in northern Gaza, which, according to its director, left many people dead. Tensions continue to rise in the region, with Israel maintaining a military presence and ongoing activities in Gaza.